What's up, everybody? Another episode with Johnny and Gene, Mafia Unrevealed, and we're here today with a very special show. It's a letter that Johnny had received from a friend of his from prison. He's known as Benny the Blade, very serious, dangerous guy out of Brooklyn, and Johnny's gonna read it for you.
So this is Benny Gerentano for the people that don't know who he is, but most people in the mob world, street world knows who he is. He had a big reputation of being very dangerous, feared, violent. I'd say all the families were intimidated of him, scared of him. They know what he's capable of. So in the street world, there's a lot of these guys that don't want to see him come out of jail. He had his stepdad, little Anthony, that was killed years ago in Bedrocks, where people know was a made guy around Gotti. And also his father was killed and murdered. He was an associate of the Genovese family. So this is a letter that he just sent me, and you guys take what you believe is facts, fiction, paperwork I've read, and the things I've seen about the case. It's definitely questionable about why he's there, and I just want to bring it to the forefront. So he writes, "Hey, broskies, how's things? I got some news for some reporters. They're going to write some new stuff that I found out. John, I've been in prison 11 years on defective verdict. For 11 years now, the courts, the prosecutor, the defense attorneys would provide me with no copy of the verdict sheet and any other documents. Now I find out through the docs recently turned over documents that I'm here on a defective verdict. I was never found guilty of stabbing Fusco. Excuse me, it was spelled wrong. The jury voted not guilty on the third count. CPW, criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree. They found him guilty of not having a weapon. That count was to run with the first count, attempted assault in the first degree, with the intent to cause serious physical injury by way of a knife, sharp object, instrument. If the jury finds me not guilty of the weapon and not guilty of a possession of a weapon, there is no logical way I could have caused him serious physical injury by a weapon, by saying a knife, a sharp object, or instrument. There is no way that to be able to occur if I'm found without being guilty of having any kind of weapon, sharp object, or anything else. The law says both counts must stand or fall together. People versus Ramos and Section 310.50 verdicts. Can you imagine what these people are doing to me? My lawyers assisted in the prosecution. You imagine these lawyers, they turned on me. Is this anything new that everybody doesn't know about attorneys? They're all known to be snakes and scumbags. It's okay now, we have to get what we have to get done. I'm innocent. I'm a man in prison for 11 years now on charges, on the defective verdict for an assault that was actually acquitted for by a jury. And the courts, the prosecutors, and the lawyers, most importantly, refused to correct it. More so, they have concealed it. More so, the mafia that everybody believes in loyalty has turned on me. The mafia bosses have told people to testify against me.
Wow.
The mafia themselves have been given information against me. The mafia has intimidated lawyers to throw me under the bus. These so-called men of honor are nothing but weasels, snakes, sellouts, informants, and rats. This is the mafia that people are talking about. I know your show has blown up over the years, and I know you have known around the world, not just here in the States. Please, can you please send this out? As I spoke to many news outlets, that one of them just contacted me and wants to handle this live. I guess those so-called tough guy mob guys be running for the hills when their names are mentioned for ratting, giving information, and being informants. There's nothing new with this. Since you've been exposing them on your show, how many do we know over the years became like Joe Messina and wearing wires? How many we know over the years have told other people to testify against people? How many we know have written letters to people's wives that they are cheating on them? What kind of gangsters, what kind of era do we live in when it's okay to be a rat and they call other people rats? They're the ones that are mixing their music to the tune they want. All right, broski, can you please stay well? Best to you and your family. I can do this, and I've always done this when I'm guilty. I'm not guilty here. I've been set up by the mafia, the prosecutors, and my own defense lawyers.
Right. So I can elaborate on that because I know his prosecutors. I dealt with her for 6 years, Lindsay Gerdes. She's very good at her job, and that's the problem. She did his state case, and she got him in the feds. And this lady is like, I know I dealt with her. I was very close with her in that when I dealt with her. She's a nice lady. I mean, I got along with her. She's good at her job, and she don't lose. So that's the problem. He had like one of the best prosecutors on him in the business. So,
well, it's not whether she's a good prosecutor, competent prosecutor or not.
Well,
he's saying
he's saying she's so good she can get it done. She's gonna get you convicted. She never lost a murder trial in the state. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
any trial.
And we're gonna go to our sponsor now.
We sponsored by Full Service Auto Transport. Full service. We do specialize in car, motorcycles, heavy equipment. We open and close transport. We ship nationwide. And 5-star rated all over the place. If you need anything for free, check us out, fullserviceautotransport.com, or call Rob directly at 561-414-6096.
Thank you, everybody. Let's get back to our show. The thing that's important is if he's not convicted of having a weapon in his hand, and the jury found him not guilty of possession of any kind of sharp object or knife or weapon, how is it possible that he could kill somebody if he's found not guilty of those weapons? And the other problem is he's not getting help from his brothers. So he's been writing about his brothers, that his brothers aren't helping him in any way.
Right.
So, and I guess that's out there in public. Everybody knows that he's out, he's in prison for years. And again, I've done a segment on him prior because I know him since he's a kid. I'm about 8, 9 years older than him. And he was always a wild kid, but people, that know him, he's dangerous, they're afraid of him. For me, and guys like me that know him very well, he's also a very loyal friend.
Right.
And I know that also from the years of interaction I had with him. So when I've never seen him complain about a case ever when he went in when he was guilty.
Right.
And he's sworn over and over to me that it's not him.
Right.
And I never seen him talk like this unless he's really being truthful.
Right.
But even it doesn't matter what he's saying. It's what the jury said, that they didn't find him guilty of having that knife.
Right, but they found him guilty of something else. I know.
There's no way. How do you kill somebody if you don't have a weapon? They're saying he's not guilty for having a weapon.
I know guys that beat the murder and blew to the gun. It happens all the time. That the gun. This is how sick it is. The gun that killed the guy. They'll beat the murder and then blow to the gun. How are you being charged with the gun if you beat the murder? I don't understand. And they get 15 years for the gun.
But I want to talk about loyalty again. You got two brothers that are not loyal to him. Right. I don't care what they did with each other. Me and my brother fight each other, hit each other with bats. We do this. But if somebody, and it was like there was two regular guys that grew up with me, the Hausman brother, not gangsters, regular guys. Mm-hmm. But if you fought one brother, just after they fought each other, if you fought one, the other one's jumping you too. And that's the way it's supposed to be, no matter loyalty. But if you're not loyal to your own brother, I don't care what's going on. Right. I don't care if it's financial or anything else. How you're not helping your brother that's in prison. I talk to his mother all the time, CC. She had a rough life. And you got two brothers that are not really doing anything for the mother either.
Right.
So if you're not doing it for your mother, you're not doing it for your brother, how is there anybody trusting anything about you if you're going to be involved with the mob?
Right.
So, and Benny brings this out. He says, they're going to trust my brothers when he turns on me. They turn on my mother. So, these are some of the things that Benny's saying. And to be honest, if you ask anybody that question, they'd all say the same thing. No matter what, it's your brother. Help your brother.
Right.
Whether you believe him, whether you hate him, whether there's anything going on, it's your brother. Help him get out of jail and never talk to him again. But just help him get out of jail or help him get an appeal. Go see the lawyers, go do the paperwork. I don't know. I mean, I was very close with Greg Ryder.
Right.
And we just did a show about Mark Ryder. Mm-hmm. But yet Michael Ryder, at the time, I wasn't a big fan of, because at the time when his father got life, he didn't want to give money to his father to help him with appeals.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Well,
You're a very rich kid.
Well, listen,
How do you not give money to your father?
Not only that, it also comes down to who your attorney is and who you're going up. You know, like I says, it's the court of law. You know, it's very hard. It's their rules, bro. You know what I mean? It's like
Their rules, but your family should know or should be
I
out
know
by
this-
your
yes,
side.
Exactly that I'm saying. But
And Michael ain't a bad kid. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but you think it dollars and cents. But that's your father's life. No matter if it costs you every penny for the rest of
You
your
know
life.
what Queens County used to tell
And
people?
Mark was very good to his kids.
Not to switch. You know what Queens County would say? The prosecutors sometimes. They'll know the person's not guilty. You know what they'll say if they blow trial? Oh, just get it back and appeal. You're putting a man away. You know he's not guilty, but you'll tell him just get it back and appeal. So you make him do 3, 4, 5 years for no reason. Yeah. That's how the courts work, bro.
By the way, the guy's name was Vito. That was Mark's in the last segment that we did. Vito was Mark's cellmate that gave him up when we hid him in California. I don't know if he's alive still anymore or whatever. But he had like these buggy frog eyes. But yeah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, listen, there's a lot of cases out there, and I've been advocating for Oscar Lugo for a while now, and I can't even get anybody in the news to write about it.
Right.
It's incredible. You got all these left-wing liberals. They tell you they care so much,
Right.
but yet they don't do anything about some of these cases.
They're not
You
going
know,
to.
like the Duca brothers. You know, people say, "Oh, you stick up for them because they're Albanian." No, I stick up for them because they never had an overt act of anything violent
Which one
in
is
their
that,
lives.
Duca brothers? Which one is
They were
that?
charged with terrorism.
Oh.
And these guys never did anything violent in their lives. I don't care what anybody says. And I talked to one of the journalists. I talked to my author that wrote one of my books. He was there. There's a lot of things that doesn't smell right with that case that these guys got life sentence.
Right.
And there's a lot of things with Oscar Lugo I know is completely false. In his case, he should be home.
Right.
And now there's things that Benny's sending me, and I'm reading paperwork that I have to question.
Right.
But somebody in the media should be looking for this, and especially these left wing when they're always talking about they care.
I wish we could get my prosecutor on because she's a lawyer now.
Yeah.
But she probably wouldn't come on. But I'm saying to talk
I'd love
about
to
the
get
case,
him on because I'd like to hear what.
She's good. Lindsay Gertis, she's good at her job, bro. But I'm being honest with you. She's a lawyer now. She defends now. But I don't think she would come on.
Maybe
but,
she should defend him.
Yeah, but she did both of his cases. She got him both times. She's actually the prosecutor that state and federal case on him. She told me he was a bad man, though. I'll be honest with you.
Listen,
She said, "Gene, he's a bad man."
listen. I'm not denying he was a bad man. He ain't denying it.
Right.
You know, being a bad man and being guilty on a case is two
Yeah.
different things. And being a changed man, because I
Right.
believe he is a changed man, because there's a part that I didn't read. He reads me the Bible constantly. He sends me articles of the Bible constantly. He was heartfelt when I lost my daughter. So I know him on the other side of him, too. You know, he had a very good heart. He might have been wild, but so was I.
Right.
I was wild, crazy, too, when I changed my life around. So I never say nobody can change their life. And do I believe he would change his life? Yeah. Is he frustrated? Listen, the problem of being in prison and locked up in solitary and all the things, you know, he had, you know, a bad heart attack. He had is you talk crazy while you're in there because you're aggravated. On phones, on letters, on typing. But it's not really what you mean. You're just frustrated. So that, to me, a lot of that doesn't count. They got to forget about that because, you know, you're frustrated. You're constantly frustrated. You hear people every day when they're fighting with a husband and wife, oh, I'd fucking kill him. Right. They're never going to kill him. They just say it.
Forget it.
They don't mean it.
You charge a terrorist act for that.
Everybody would be. But anyway, I'd like people to look into it, anybody in the media.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, whoever's talking to them, and this is going to come out, what bosses, and more so, I'm more curious about all these guys in the mob that are ratting on him or telling people to rat on him. And he's talking.
They want you off the street now. If you're too wild for them, they can't control you. They just put you in jail now. That's the bottom line. But this is a good episode.
Anybody wants to hear, please subscribe, write. You want to know if you want to help Benny at all, you can write me. If you have any information, you can write me. And I'll get the messages to him. And then we also want to always shout out to Eddie Recca.
Yeah.
And these guys, that Young Guns and Jerry and different guys that are away. You know, I really hope these guys come home soon, get a new life, start a family, and have a family. Eddie has his son when he comes home. So say everybody, and you know, I do believe in prison reform, especially for the elder. They should be able to release them at a certain age.
Right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Subscribe.